Now we're doing FreeCodeCamp Legacy Python for everybody. Networking using URL library in Python. That's what it is. There's two L's right here and then an I, whatever. All right, so let's get to it. Make sure you got your notes out like this. Scroll all the way down to the bottom where we're going to start, and let's get to it.
Okay, so now we're going to write a web browser again in Python,
Yay!
But it's going to even be shorter than what we did before. We did it in 10 lines using sockets. Now we're going to do it in 4 lines with URLlib. So URLlib really is just because the idea of opening a connection, sending a GET request, sending the new line, retrieving the stuff, breaking the headers out, doing all this stuff, that's so common, why not put it in a library to save ourselves some effort?
So common, we've only done it once. All right, so let's type this down before we get into any more hijinks. Right here, what is it? What did it say? I don't remember. Using URLlib in Python. I'll call it that. Using URLlib in Python. That's probably going to be something we see so many times that we'll get used to it. Since HTTP, since Hypertext Transfer Protocol, remember that? Remember that? Since HTTP is so common, comma, we have a library that does all the socket work for us and makes web pages. Let's drop this down right about here. Right there. And makes web pages look like files. Okay. What does that mean? I don't know. We'll have to listen to him, but let's type down this little example while we're at it. 2 down, 1 tab over. Let's do it. Import urllib.request, comma, urllib.parse. What's up with these commas? We'll learn about that too. urllib.error. What's up with that too? Okay. File handle. Oops. There we go. Handle equals. You know, Vim is looking real good sometimes. That little thing where you can just, instead of using your mouse, use your keys to what is the word? Select stuff, but at the same time, it's just so time consuming. URL open. urllib.request.url open. And then we're going to have in here http dot what? Oh no, colon hypertext transfer protocol. We'll say www.example.com, and then we'll say test.txt. Not that it's real, but it's just about as real as this if we don't ever go to it. So let's come down here and we'll say for line in file handle. All right. We're going to print line.decode. And then we're going to strip both sides, strip thusly. Okay. So that's the thing. That's something we're going to need a lot, according to him. Whatever that is. All right. So let's listen to him talk about it, and we'll figure out why this is like this. Can they just be on their own single lines? And they just want to do this just to say it's 4 lines? I don't know. Let's see.
Here's how we do it. We're going to read it in. Right, we're going to import this library, so it's not part. We had to import sockets before, but we're going to import URLlib now. And so this is really quite simple. It's like elegantly simple. You say URLlib, that's a library, that's a part of a library, a module within the library, and this is a function. So let's call URL open, and then give it the URL. Now that's a string which it's going to encode automatically for us. So it's taking care of all kind of pretty things for us. It does the get, it does the encode. Look back at that previous code. That's kind of what URLlib is doing for us. Okay. Now what URLlib also does is it makes the connection, encodes the GET request, and then it actually retrieves, at this moment, it retrieves all the headers and keeps them for you for later. You can get the headers, but we're not going to see the headers. And it returns to you an object that looks pretty much like a file handle, because you can put this in the for clause after the in. Now it's going to run that loop one time for every line of this file. And so the lines we're going to get back are bytes, and so we have to say decode. It doesn't do that for us automatically. We are going to have to decode them, and that's because we might need to decode them with a particular character set here. And then we're going to do our strip, and we're going to just print this out. So that's like open a file, read through it, and print it. This is open a URL, read through, and print it. And that's as simple as it is. And so that's what happens.
Check that out. All right, let's go back to the notes and look at it because actually, let's not only just go to the notes, let's also ask ChatGPT, because as usual, a part that is rare was not explained at all. All right. And so whatever, let's go talk to ChatGPT. Give me just a second. Make sure ChatGPT is looking fine today. ChatGPT's looking slow today. I wonder if it's because of 01 or whatever the new thing is. What's the new thing? 01, yeah. I wonder if that's why it's so slow. Who cares? Let's grab this. And let's come over here and say, what's with the commas in line 1? What's with the commas in line 1 of this? Multiple modules from the same package, URL library. In Python, we can import several modules or submodules from the same package in a single line by separating them with commas. Turns out, that's what's going on here. So in this case, we've got URLlib request, which is used for opening and reading URLs. URLlib.parse, which is for parsing URLs, and URLlib.error for handling URL-related errors. What do you mean? What do you mean? Handling URL-related errors. The URL module provides classes that are used to catch and handle exception errors that can occur during URL operations, such as opening or reading a URL. These exceptions usually occur when something goes wrong with the HTTP request, like the server not being available, the request timing out, or an invalid URL being provided. Okay. Here are some common errors for the URLlib.error module. All right, URL error. This is raised when there's a problem with the URL or the network, such as if the domain doesn't exist or if the server is unreachable. Okay. Example, a network issue or DNS. Pardon me. Oh my goodness. Pardon me. Or DNS lookup failure. We've also got HTTP error, and this is a subclass of URL error and is raised when a valid HTTP response is received, but the response contains an error code like 404 for not found or 500 for internal server error. Example, a server returns a 404 error because the requested resource is missing. Ah, yes. We can handle these errors in our code using try except blocks like this. All right, so we've got URLlib request. So, yeah. Like I said, like I was pondering, whatever the word is, the reason it's got these commas is because they want to keep it on one line. Usually it would look something like this, import this, import that. But since they're all in URL library, we're able to, I guess, have commas. I don't know. Maybe it's just an import thing. Maybe we could import anything with commas. Like we could import this or import... Oh, what's another thing to import? I know we did something before. Also, this needs to come backwards. Where's one of those import things? Socket, right? So we could import socket and we could import URLlib, even though that would be stupid because this is handling what this does. But you get what I'm saying. All right. So that's basically what that seems to be. Let's go back to see what he says about the next thing. What's this? Yeah, we don't need any of this. Poison. Romeo not poison. Poison. Poetry. So Freudian slip, eh? Is that poison? Or is it poetry? All right, whatever. It depends on how you look at it. So there, we've got this. It's got, I guess that came from Romeo and Juliet. I don't remember. I'm not into Shakespeare. Let's go.
TXT, and it prints out. Now the thing to notice is that there are no headers here. The headers have been sort of consumed in the URL open. Again, there is a way to say, hey, give me my headers. But for now, this is just going to eat the headers and keep them, and then you get to read all the data. And the loop runs, and this loop runs 4 times, and out come the 4 lines. You can go ahead and run this one. It's super easy.
Super easy.
Super easy.
Super easy.
You can do anything you want. I mean, treat it like a file.
All right. Super easy. All right. So like a file, let's see what this is. What? Like a file. Oh, this is why I accept payments from Google AdSense, because this is work. I have to translate from whatever this is into common language. Okay, like a file. All right, so let's see what this is before he gets all hilarious about it. All right, so like a file, we've got the import things right here. We got the file handle right here. Counts. This is the same thing as the count thing where we have like a histogram. So this is a histogram maker. Okay. Do we need to write this down? Let's write it down just for practice. How about that? All right. So like a file, URLlib. Our libs are like files. I mean, aren't they exactly? Isn't that what they are? Anyway, whatever. So let's type this down. We're going to import. Let's do this. Yoink. We'll get this. Drop it. All right. Pardon me. We got file handle equals this stuff. All right. All right. Here we got this. Drop it down too. Boom. Actually. All right. There we go. We got that. Let's put the Romeo and Juliet thing in there, just in case we want to actually look it up at some point. So data.pr4e data.pr4e.org Romeo.text. Let's take this. And let's change this. Boom. All right. So we're there. Now we're going to do the little, this thing. So we're going to say counts equals a new dictionary. All right. For line in file handle. All right. We're going to say words equals line.decode. Which I guess is something we need .split. I thought we already decoded. Oh, what? Oh, okay. So this is a different thing than this thing. So we got to decode whatever. We're going to always have to decode this stuff, it seems. All right. So now we're going to say for word in words. All right. So that's the line. We're going to say counts at word. Come on. Counts at word equals counts.get. And we got word or 0. All right. If there's no word already in it, or 0, and then we'll say +1. All right. So just like we learned X number of days ago. That's how that works. And then we're going to do outside of this for loop and outside of this for loop, we're going to do a print counts. Print counts. Boom. Just like that. And this will get us the counts of the words in this Romeo and Juliet snippet. All right, so let's go.
File, you just have to remember to do the decode bit when you treat it like a file.
True.
And so that code import it, we're going to open it, we're going to make a dictionary, we're going to loop through, we're going to split it, we have to add the decode just to make sure because that line is bytes, not string.
True.
And then we're going to go, our words, we're going to go through the line, and then each line we're going to bounce through the words. The inner for loop is bouncing through the words, and then we're going to go to the next line, and then we make ourselves, and this a dictionary, and we print that dictionary out. Now this in effect, other than importing this, opening it differently, and doing the decode, this is exactly how we would process a file. And so by using URLlib, you really sort of reduce the complexity of retrieving and reading network resources to the same complexity of reading and dealing with a file locally on your hard drive,
So
which
many
is
words.
kind of pretty.
I have no idea what he just said, honestly. No idea what he just said. And I don't even want to go back and try to figure it out. Let's just write this stuff down as usual. Reading web pages. So import URLlib request. So we've got all this stuff. What? What? What is this? What is this? All right, let's type this down anyway. Reading web pages. Sorry. All right, so we got this. We're gonna get this stuff first, and then we'll also get the. Okay, let's get this. Let's get this. No way we can just drop it right here. All right, and now we're gonna do the for line in F hand, for line in file handle. Okay. We're going to print line.decode. All right. And then we're going to also strip it with the strip method. All right. And we'll white space. Now, I don't know what this is. Is this what comes out? I'm pretty sure this is what comes out. Didn't we do this the other day with our little example thing right here? We got the little open the socket thing. Let's run this thing real quick in the command line. All right. CMD, boom, tab, 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 tab. There we go. And then come to the beginning and say Python. Yeah, same thing, basically. This stuff comes out. All right. So let's come back over here. Here's this. Here's this. What's up with that thing on OBS? Yeah, whatever. We gotta get rid of that. All right. So there's that. So let's write this stuff down. So we've got that, and yeah, what's going to come out is going to be the HTML. Let's type that down. Is that what comes? This is what comes out. I'm pretty sure. Let's watch.
Oh, one of the things then we can do is read web pages. That was a text file, but you can get HTML. And so here's how you read a web page. And it's the same kind of code. We open a URL. This one happens to have HTML in it, and we read through it, and out comes the HTML. Remember that the header.
All right. We forgot to change this part up in the notes. Let's change that up. www.drchuck.com. www.drchuck.com. Page 1 HTML. Page 1 dot hypertext markup, no language at the end. All right. So yeah, this stuff would come out like that. Let's say prints. Like that. Prints. And let's tab it over. HTML h1 ... and then we're going to have close h1, and then we'll put down here ... We'll do a p. We'll do a p. How about that? We'll do open and close p. P, close p, and then we'll do this. We'll say ... here. We'll take this, copy it, drop it off 1, 2 times, bring it back 1, 2 times. Drop it off 1 more time. All right, there we go. All right, looks fantastic, right? Looks great. All right, so there we go. That's what would happen if we did this right here. It would print out some HTML.
Are there, but they've been eaten by urlopen for us. And now we could write a browser that would parse these less thans and greater thans and make links, etc., etc., etc. So if you can come up with ways to find these links, you could actually write a bit of code that would then have a loop that would go up and open a new one. Pull out the links, open a new one. Pull out the links, open a new one. And so you could make a thing that would retrieve you could write a program that would retrieve a page, find the links in the page, and then retrieve those links. And we'll actually do that before the end of the class. And so Python is a very popular, actually.
All right, before we go into the next part, let's look at this and see if there was anything importante that we needed. Doesn't seem like it. Hold on. Following links. Okay, it changed this, but it doesn't do it that. All right, so I guess I don't know. All right, let's just go here.
Language at Google, and I wonder if I think it's a pretty safe bet that the first crawler that they wrote to crawl the web, to build the index, was Python, because literally that's all it takes to read web pages and pull those web pages into your web crawler database. So I don't know. Are those the first 4 lines ever written to Google? Who knows? So the next thing that we'll talk about is how you handle that HTML. HTML is kind of yucky and nasty, and so it's not as simple as regular expressions. Regular expressions might help. String parsing and split might help, but it's just too crazy. So we'll talk a little bit about how to use a library to make HTML parsing a lot easier.
Okay, great. I didn't know HTML was ugly. I thought it was just HTML. Turns out this guy don't like it. All right, so there's that. That last part about finding links. I mean, we're going to do that. I mean, it seems important, I guess, to find links. We'll probably, I looked through this thing right here, okay? And we're definitely going to be doing web scraping. In the next video, in fact. Cool, awesome, actually. So, you know, that's probably what he was talking about. Anyway, let's get to the question. So what will the output of the following code be like? We got import URL library, URLlib.request, file handle. This.request data Romeo for line in file handle print.strip. Just the contents, the header, the footer, the contents. Just the contents, right? It's just the contents, right? Yeah, okay, there we go. And submit it. All right, so now we are on networking, web scraping with Python, and we'll see you next time.